Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 505 interview series. Big D coming at you. Got a great show tonight. But before we get started, let's pay some bills, huh? It's really cold, as you can see. I got hoodie on, jacket, my heater going next to me. It's going to be one of those shows, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice for all of you. Reminder, my partnership I got with Zyphy Cigar Accessory. If you missed out on the fall sale all October long, I feel bad for you. But, hey, we're coming up on Christmas. You looking for a new lighter? You looking for a new humidor, travel door? Well, Zyphy has you covered. Or for that special aficionado in your life, they got you covered. Get over to ZyphyCigarAccessory.com. Use promo code 505CR. That'll save you some coinage when you check out. You get here, this is my new favorite lighter. I cannot stop using this. This is that deep V cut with the triple torch. This thing, phenomenal. I love this lighter. I don't know where this has been my entire life. Don't know. Of course, if you were out there trying to find a new humidor, that 5-piece humidor set, man, that is so awesome, especially if you're just starting out in the hobby or the craft. It's the perfect starter humidor for you. So definitely give that a look and check it out. If you're looking to pick up on Amazon, just go back through my stories or reels. I've posted all the different promo codes that you can use on Amazon if you want to pick up anything that I've shown and promoted out. And I don't know where my phone is going to sit. Okay. Everything's just a complete disaster for me on this side. All right, but without further ado, go check it out, ZyphyCigarAccessory.com. My guest tonight, man's pure America. Manufactures in America, American-made ashtrays, accessories. Of course, if you've an OG to the channel, you know this cigar stand has been in a lot of photos out there. And, of course, I've got the man behind all of that. So let's bring him on, Mr. Matt Lewis of 58 Ring. Welcome, sir.
What's going on? Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their evening, watching their Monday Night Football. Full disclosure, I'm an Eagles fan. It's on in the background, but it's muted. I'm focused on you guys. So, besides, I'm not worried about it. It's just Mahomes. He's just some scrub.
Some scrub Mahomes.
Some scrub Mahomes. So I am 58 Ring, 100%. A creation that came out of a love for woodworking, a love for the cigar industry. I've been a cigar smoker for about 25 years now. I'm dating myself, which is disappointing. And I wanted to kind of put together the passion that I have for woodworking and the passion that I have for cigars. And it kind of just came together one afternoon. I had some scrap wood. I was making a humidor, made an ashtray, and it turned out pretty nice. So I ended up giving my childhood best friend and my best man at my wedding the other half of the ashtray. And that's kind of where it started. Fast forward a few years later, and frustrated with the lack of customer service in so many places, and knew that I could do it better. And while I can't fix all the other stores, can't fix a whole lot of stuff, but I can certainly provide a service and a quality of product that is top notch and what we have come to expect in the premium cigar world as we sit here and enjoy these wonderfully crafted cigars from all the various manufacturers that certainly appreciate their craft. And I certainly appreciate their craft. A little bit more about me. Like I said, I've been smoking cigars for about 25 years. Got into it the first time I met my now late uncle. We sat down and had, what's it called? Macanudo Crystal Cafes, because I think everyone's first cigar was a Macanudo, and strawberry daiquiris on his balcony while we got to know each other. And ever since then, I've really enjoyed cigars. And there's one of those things about going into a cigar lounge, knowing no one. I used to travel for a living. You find a random city, you find a cigar lounge, you sit down, and a couple hours later, and you've got friends for life. And it's just a great culture, a great community, and I wanted to be more a part of it. So that is where 58 Ring came from, and here I am. How's that for an intro?
That sounds great, man. Of course, 58 Ring. There you go. This was the very first accessory I bought from you.
Didn't you get that from?
Oh, I did. I got that from Phil. I won his Phil's giveaway.
Yep.
That's how I got introduced to you. Yes.
Yep. It was Phil's giveaway. Phil Carew. Love that guy.
Yes, I won his giveaway. Yeah. I did years now. This has been a staple in photos on my social media.
Yeah, I want to say my relationship with Phil started around 2020, so it's definitely been in a couple of your shots and photos.
Oh, it has, when I'm doing like special event stuff and setting up the computer and getting everything, and I got the cigar, I'm like, "Are you guys ready for this show?" Yeah, and I got it sitting on my key on the keyboard on the computer already. I was like, "Let's go."
So what are you smoking?
The Navy from Stillwell Star. Going a little soccer action tonight.
Okay. I figured I was wearing an LFD shirt, so I got a Chisel Oro.
Well, we won't hold it against you.
Yeah, what can you say?
That's awesome. So, has woodworking's been something you've done for like ever, man? And so you've basically took that to the next level with basically your ashtrays and other accessories you manufacture. Which I have a box here I've not opened. I haven't looked at this. So
Yeah, you have no idea what's in there.
I have no clue what's in it. So I'm going to open it right now.
Okay.
All I know was this thing was heavy when I went to the post office.
They generally are.
There we go. We got this gorgeous box that you sent me full of rocks.
Yes, that is exactly that is the way we do it. We present a great.
Oh, we got a bunch of stickers in here. Very nice. Well, we've got another cigar stand.
Yep. And that is the new improved with the magnets.
Oh, new and improved. So my old wood one is.
That was the version 2. So there was a version 1 and a version 2, and you've got the version 5.
And a lighter.
Yep.
Good. I'll sit on here with the 97 other lighters I have that I say I can't find. I go, where's the lighter when I need one?
I know that feeling all too well.
All right, let me take a look at the new and improved cigar stand. Oh, yeah, I see, with the magnet on it.
Yeah, so it doesn't really do anything for holding up a cigar, but it likely prevents them from getting lost or at least separated. Can't prevent them from being lost, but definitely can
I see. Okay.
keep them together when they're not in use.
There you go. There's the new and improved stand that has the magnet, so there you go. All right. Well, good. I'll put this over on the workbench because, I need a stand over there. All right, so let's see here what we got in this box. Nice. All your boxes come with warranty card and ashtray care.
Yep.
All right. Wow. Look at that.
Looks
Beautiful. Still smells good too.
excellent.
Wow, that's nice. Look at that beautiful ashtray. Now, are all the ashtrays same size, or do you do deeper bowls?
So I really have to work with the wood that I have available.
Okay.
And so I'll order wood, and it'll come in with checks, which is the woodworker's term for cracks in it. So you end up having to machine that off, and so you kind of work with what you have, and then do what you can to salvage what you can, because it's certainly not a cheap raw material, that's for sure. Yeah, so that's a Babingo wood, which is really cool because you can see at the very top, it's got the essentially the sapwood up there, which is a nice different color. And then just that has a really nice coloration in it as well.
Yes, this is beautiful ashtray.
It's also very dense, which is why you've got the weight there. I've got some behind me now, and we'll do a little walk around in a little bit, that are canary wood and monkey pod, which are less dense woods, and they probably weigh, they're 2/3 the thickness of that, or sorry, about twice as thick as that, and they probably weigh less than that. And then I've got another one that is leopard wood and Wenge that probably weighs twice what that weighs, if not more. And it's just the different densities of wood, and that also changes the way you work with it, and it either makes things more difficult or easier depending on what you're.
Yeah, I mean this is gorgeous. Nice weight. You know, could be used that y'all could be seeing in 10 years from now on something that was used in forensic files.
Yeah, potentially, if that's what you want to do with it. You know, I mean, I don't have a record of shipping that one to you because you didn't go through the business.
Right. Not
that wasn't me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and actually, so right here to my left, which has some ash in it. This is there we go. The very first one I ever made, and I actually made this. There's two of them, and they were essentially one large block of wood. And in the process of making it, if only I had a cigar stand. And in the process of making it to cut the cigar rests, I actually drilled holes in both of them at the same time, and then used a bandsaw, cut it in half, and then hollowed out this area. So you had the little half holes, and then you had basically hollowed that out. And so my buddy has the other one, which is a pretty cool thing. And this guy's getting close to 10 years old, probably could use some more finish at this point. But overall, it's 10 years later, and Lord knows how many cigars and stories this thing is been a part of. So they definitely hold up well. A couple of little things, you don't want to leave it outside. They're definitely not. I'm not putting marine spar varnish on them because that just looks plasticky and not really my thing. Don't want to put a cigar out on it, but we're all cigar smokers, so we all know that you just let your cigar go to sleep because they smell terrible when you put them out. And as long as you do that, they're going to last you an eternity. Which is cool.
Yes.
And you get something to throw at people or hold a door open.
Right. I'll make sure I cover this completely in a laminate epoxy. So
there you go. Yeah. Make sure you use a high temp epoxy.
Yes. There we go. Yeah. No, this thing is gorgeous. Man, it's beautiful.
I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I'd like to say my heart and soul goes into it, but it's more like my sweat and blood goes into them. So.
And so, do you work with area shops or manufacturers and coming up with custom line accessory and ashtrays?
So I have done a couple of ashtrays for a cigar manufacturer. You guys are probably familiar with J. London Cigars. So Jonathan and I have done a couple of collaborations together for essentially a handful of ashtrays. And there's also a local store around me that I part-time at as a retail sales rep manager / basically I'm the only one there. So they carry my products, and I've done custom stuff for those of you that are tractor people. JW Speaker is a company that makes OEM lights for John Deere, and I've got an ashtray on the CEO and the CEO's son's desks up there at JW Speaker. So I've done a handful of collaborations here and there, gifts, that kind of stuff. Definitely most popular for purchases for the ashtrays or for gifts for others. It's one of those unique things that you can get for somebody that has everything, because they're all unique. They're all made by me. Occasionally my puppy will help out, which doesn't end well, but she tries. So,
Well, the ashtray, like the lighter, is kind of one of those universal gifts you can give to any smoker out there. And it's something that they're going to value and they're going to love, because it's always something we need. Like my table right here, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 lighters sitting here. I've got 14 cutters sitting here, and 3 ashtrays, which includes the one I just got from you. You know, it's one of those things. I got ashtrays all over the garage here. You know, it's one of those universal gifts that if you're a smoker, you'd love to get from somebody, and especially something that's beautiful and handcrafted.
Yep.
You know, not porcelain or cheap glass.
They work though.
I get it, they work, but you know, when you want to impress people, I mean,
yeah, you want the statement piece. This
is the statement piece. Look, this is the panty droppers of ashtrays right there. Okay?
I've never heard that term.
That's what
never heard that term about my ashtrays, and I love it.
Well, I just coined it, so you know, this is the panty dropper. You bring this in, all your friends are going to go, ooh, well, what is that? Yeah. So
I'm not sure how my wife would feel about that. And I generally end up smoking cigars with other guys, so that maybe if that's. But thank you very much.
I was going to say the Cadillac of ashtrays, and for some reason, panty dropper came out, so now I got to roll with it. All right.
I like it. It works.
It works out there. So are you opening up for more wholesale now, or to start building into lounges across the U.S. for sales?
I would love to go more wholesale. The online sales for accessories is definitely a slow market if you're not selling cigars along with the accessories. And I do not want to get into, at this time, selling cigars. The online market for retailing cigars is very crowded. The online market for selling accessories is also very crowded. However, when you have the unique products, it does make a difference versus the obligatory 10,001 cigar cutters that are just cheap plastic that you can get off Amazon for $1. So my brand definitely caters to the higher end products.
Yes.
And the more unique gift type products. So given the option to expand into other retailers, I certainly welcome the conversation. I've talked to a handful, got some products in a handful of stores in the areas. I'm from the DC area. My wife and I recently moved about an hour northwest of Philly, which is where her family is from. And so that was about six and a half years ago. So I've got a lot of connections back in the DC area that I certainly utilize. And then I'm making a decent number of connections up in this area as well, which has gone very well.
That's good. I got to link up with you in July at PCA in Vegas. Out there, a trip like that, is that a connection trip for you to make connections with manufacturers and retailers and distributors, or was that just a fun trip to get out of the Philly area and go to Vegas for 4 days?
So is my accountant watching? Because if my accountant's watching, that was a business trip to meet with and discuss business deals. And hi, Jackie. Hopefully you're not watching. No, that was definitely an opportunity to get out there and network. And also, I've met a lot of people either directly through Instagram or through lounges or through 58 Ring, and it gives you a chance to catch up with them. It's interesting. So my full-time job, I've been working from home for the last about 7 or 8 years. And the few times that I am in the office, my supervisor refers to it as a different kind of productivity. And that different kind of productivity is the casual conversations that you have that you can't have when you're working on something formally. And as a result of that, it's a different kind of productivity. And going out, being face-to-face, hanging out after hours at Circle Bar or Center Bar, whichever it's called. It's a different kind of networking. You get your name out there, you get your face out there, and you get to catch up with the people that you've met on cigar trips or seen on cigar trips, which is always a good time as well. So you definitely make long-lasting relationships on various cigar trips.
I tell people who will always say, man, I'd love to go to PCA. I'd love to go to TPE. And I'm like, well, you just go. Just because you don't get on the sales floor is boring. You don't even.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's boring. Everything goes down after it closes in the Circle Bar, at 8 Lounge, at Tap and Ash, at dinner someplace. That's where everything goes down. That's where you have something that you're manufacturing. You want to get your name out there. That's where you go and do it. You don't really do it on the sales floor. The sales floor, it's boring as hell. And you'll be bored out of your mind if you go there. And if you think you're going to go there and get loaded with cigars, good luck, you ain't. No, it don't work like that.
Nope.
Doesn't work like that. You want to get loaded with cigars, you go to all the events and parties that go on after.
Exactly.
After that's where everything goes down.
Yep.
Not there. But that's where I've met far more people is going to the lounges in Vegas and some of the cut and light parties, getting to meet a lot of the different manufacturers, different distributors that now I've created connections with up there. What's up, Maisha?
Hello.
She's the bigwig for the Ashhole Cigar Club there in Oklahoma. Okay.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm not sure if I should be welcoming you, but I'm going to go into anyway.
Yeah. Do you carry something like this with you when you're going to those type of events, or you just have photos?
I'm not that strong,
I
go
around with my backpack.
Yeah, I do photos. Unfortunately, photos don't show the mass and the textures and whatnot, but the photos definitely get attention, and phone calls back and conversations get started that way.
Yeah. Oh no, this is gorgeous. I don't know. Maybe I got to throw that in my bag when I go back out to Vegas in January.
You're going in January? What
for TPE?
TPE is January this year? Because I know PCA is March.
Yeah, it's 6 weeks later. So
yeah, PCA
I'll be there in January, running media, doing media stuff for TPE, and then I'll be back out there in middle of March for PCA, working with Alan and Family by Loyalty.
Yep. What do you want to see? So one of the biggest things that has been a holdup for 58 Ring and for me, almost 2 years ago, we started the process to build the building that I'm in now. And through a nightmare of bureaucratic problems and township politics and all sorts of other aspects of small town life, from submitting our first form and request for essentially a variance in January of 2022, we got our building permit that we were expecting June, July timeframe of 2022. We got it on January 31st of 2023. And then it took us another 3 months to get the builder to actually show up and build it, and they became just as much of a headache. But now I've got this wonderful insulated, heated and cooled building that I'm out here in a t-shirt, and it's I don't know, like 35 degrees outside right now, so it's not too cold, but that has greatly improved productivity, because I was working in a 2-car garage that we had a bunch of extra power put in, and I ended up buying a hobby machine shop because I like to tinker. So when you have a completely equipped wood shop that you guys will see in just a bit, and then you throw in an entirely complete metal fabrication machine shop into a single two-car, well, I say a single two, into a two-car garage, it really limits your ability to do pretty much anything. Where my table saw was my assembly table, was my glue-up table, was my finishing table, and it's a table saw. So I can only do one operation at once, which really slowed things down and complicated things. But if you guys want to see the chaos behind me, certainly take you for a little walk and show you the barn.
Let's go check it out. Let's see where the magic happens.
The magic, exactly. If I can, my computer locked. There we go. We're back. All right. So let's see. I guess I'll just go to the corner and kind of do a wide view. So if you have the space and you're a car guy, I don't know if you're a car guy. I want to pretend that I'm a car guy. I used to be, had a couple of fun sports cars and whatnot. But you got to get the two-post lift because, well, you do. You got to have a two-post lift if you're a car guy. So that's awesome part number one. Then we get into the woodworking area. So here is the jointer, which basically takes wood that isn't perfectly flat, and it allows you to get flat square edges on it. Moving around over here, got a drum sander, which if you have ever done any woodworking and you've used that yellow planer over there, which is obnoxiously loud, the drum sander will absolutely change your life for woodworking. Right here is dust collection. It's a 3 horsepower dust collection system that's fully grounded. Everything's plumbed in very nicely so that in theory, all the dust is collected at the source. There's a bandsaw for breaking down wood, as well as for the X-Rest, the little cigar stands. I use this to essentially, and I don't have anything right here, but essentially you take a long piece of wood, and I'll grab we'll pretend this is wood, and you cut it like this, and you get really thin sheets of wood that we use to make the little cigar rush, which here's some scrap ones that I use. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, this might look familiar. This is a branding iron press. So this guy controls the temperature. And then this right here, you basically just put the wood under it, and this gets up to about 700 or 800 degrees and burns the wood. Router table, nothing special there. Here is the planer, which is, well, one of the most loud and obnoxious things that exist in this world. CNC, which I use for a lot of stuff now, definitely has integrated nicely into the shop and certainly made things a little more efficient and faster. This is the control for the CNC. And more importantly, we've got the locker, which I store the booze in because, well, no good shop doesn't have booze.
That's right. And who says you can't enjoy a nice libation while working around heavy equipment?
Exactly. I mean, what's wrong with the table saw that's, going to cut your fingers off or do something terrible to you?
You're not a real woodworker if you're not missing a finger or two.
Well, I guess I'm not a real woodworker yet. So I just recently finished up a whole bunch of ashtrays, so not sure how good the quality of this video is. I'm trying to manipulate a laptop, but this is the canary wood with monkey pod.
Wow. That's beautiful too. I like that tricolor.
Here is another Babinga ashtray, a little bit different than yours, but similar, just a nice, heavy, massive. Believe it or not, this actually weighs more than this guy does. Not by much, but it does weigh a little bit more. This one, I've been sitting on this for way too long and haven't finished it, but I finally finished it this past week. It's got 6 rests. It weighs probably about 12 pounds, and it's a Babinga base with African mahogany on the top. And you can't really see it, probably not at all with the laptop, but I essentially set it up so that the cut or the bowl stops and the curve of the bowl is right where the two come together. And this was a nightmare to glue up. These are a lot easier to glue up because they're a little bit smaller, but because this was two large flat surfaces, there was like 8 clamps on this one piece of wood to glue it up, and it sat for about 3 days before I did anything with it. And then here's just a fun stack of ashtrays that are just got thrown on the website today, actually. So I spent way too long coming up with silly stories associated with them. But they are all on the website. And for those of you that are interested, of course, we have a discount code for the viewers of this show. It's 505CR. And that'll get you 10% off. It is good through Cyber Monday. I think that's the majority of the shop. The more important stuff, let's see. Of course, my screen keeps going off. More important stuff, I've got the poker chips and the poker table. So, yep, it is a smoke-friendly poker lounge. I mean workshop. Don't tell my accountant.
I admit, I'm pretty technical. I work a technical job, but I'm always kind of jealous of people who can do beautiful things with wood like this. Like, I can't do that. Like,
you'd be surprised. It's not as hard as it looks. It just takes time and patience, and the more time you do it, the easier it gets, the faster it gets. You find different ways to improve your process, which is always enjoyable.
Like AJ said here.
I was going to say, AJ's the car guy. He's changing his oil.
That's right. I can change the oil in my truck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I used to until I got a new truck, and then they put everything like goofy, and so you need a lift to get underneath it to get to the filter.
Yep. This is the dork in me. I do a lot of fabrication for tractors, and I mess with hydraulics a lot. For those of you that do the whole tractor thing and are familiar with the YouTube tractor scene, Tractor Time with Tim is a friend of mine. I've actually been on his channel, and you see some of my work in just about every one of his videos for the last year and a half. So, I like to tinker with just about everything. Hydraulics are a ton of fun if you actually get into them.
You get your hands in quite a bit of a lot, but besides the accessories, also with the metal fabrication, hydraulic fabrication going on. I mean, it seems like this eats up far more of your time unless you set a set amount of time that I'm only going to work on this stuff from this time to this time on these days.
It really depends on the mood, to be honest with you. I certainly focus. 58 Ring is a business first, and it was made to get me more involved in the industry, and that was, as we talked about earlier, it was created for a couple of reasons, and the industry is such a great industry. The people in the cigar world. You sit down like I was saying earlier, you sit down at a lounge, and 2 hours later, you're pretty much friends with everyone you've been hanging out with, whether you're from town, out of town, it doesn't matter. And that's what I absolutely love about the industry. And one of the greatest things is you can sit at a lounge with someone who's worth $100 million and sit at a lounge with someone that could barely afford the cigar that they're smoking. And you would never know which one is which unless you go to that one lounge, but you generally never know which one is which, and everyone just gets along. And, as long as you stay away from the political topics and just, talk about how go Eagles, even though they're losing, all is well. It's a passion of these things, and it forces you to sit down and do nothing for an hour and a half. And I have trouble sitting down and doing nothing. So that's another reason I love cigars. You okay over there?
I am. I'm liking this. I'm just also giving the people watching, letting them get a good gander at this gorgeous ashtray that you can yourself pick up at 58ring.com. And of course, until Cyber Monday, use promo code 505CR to save some coinage on getting your own beautiful, made in the United States, handcrafted ashtray or some of the other accessories that he has listed up on the website.
Do carry Peter James, also Zycar, and still have some remaining Human Smart stuff, but moving away from that and going to Bovita. So,
look at you, fancy going Peter James.
I'll tell you what. This is one of the best purchases I've ever made. This thing goes everywhere with me. I absolutely love the case. However, Project Carbon makes a fantastic case as well. There's a couple other manufacturers. And Stogies and Bogies, he's got a nice looking case as well. So, but the Peter James case is it's something special, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Have you smoked his cigar?
I have not.
It's really good.
Is it?
Yeah. I had him on the Tuesday show with me, and we had a great time. Learned a lot from John about he went really in depth into the especially into like the handcrafting leather and trying new and different things out there that nobody else is thinking of. And I had Brandy from her cigar closet as my guest co-host that night, and she's been pushing him to make a humidor purse.
Okay, I like the
idea. It's like I love your leather work, and I love your purses, but I'd like to have a built-in humidor in my purse.
That sounds like fun. I don't carry a purse, but my wife carries a purse, and she doesn't generally smoke very many cigars. She does have the occasional cigar, and normally she's got my cigar stuff in her purse. So I like the idea. You get her a humidor purse.
I think Brandy was onto something because she's just like it,
And it's not like getting your wife a vacuum for Christmas.
I know. I mean, we all know that's the perfect gift for a woman, but ladies, I'm joking. It's a broom. We do things by hand over here. If Michelle, I know she's in the chat, she's going to smack me next time she sees me.
And I think you deserve it for that one.
Well, I'm a sweet and innocent boy. Don't listen to whatever she posts in the chat. It's not true. Not true. Yeah, man, I dig it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Getting into a bigger shop, expanding out the manufacturing on that. I mean, are you really looking at probably at some point there, where you get big, you start moving into bigger shops or moving into more shops, either looking at expanding more or hiring in people?
Absolutely. I don't know what just fell back there, but we're not going to worry about it. Yeah, absolutely. If the demand is there, I certainly have the capability in the space here to ramp up. I have a few people that it would be family essentially that would come and help out if necessary to take care of some stuff. Because as we were talking before the show, the amount of effort that goes in behind the scenes on creating essentially language on the website to sell things, creating the photos for the products, that takes a substantial amount of time. And then just getting out there, getting your name out there, socializing, selling the product, smoking cigars, shooting the shit, having fun, that also takes time. So the amount of time in the shop is certainly at a premium. And if I could get the workload that would justify bringing people in, I'm sure I would. I'd love that opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a woman wrote the card.
Nope, that was on me.
That was all you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Proofread by my wife.
wow. Would never have guessed.
Not sure if I should take that as a compliment or if you're going to be sending me a vacuum for Christmas.
Right. We've already gone over this. Brooms for the women here, buddy.
Oh, that's right. I actually was pushing a
We
broom.
we do things by hand here. I'm gonna call you. You're out there by a lot of the Amish. I'm gonna get a hold of one and then make you a nice Amish broom.
That would be great. Yeah, we are by a lot of the Amish. In fact, allegedly the building was built by the Amish, but it wasn't two Amish guys that showed up. It was actually a guy from Puerto Rico and a guy from the Dominican. So we ended up talking cigars, which was pretty awesome. And they did an absolutely fantastic job. And we've since then brought them back to do other work for us, which has been great.
Yeah, the Amish are well known for their woodworking and handcrafting on that. So,
And they're actually growing tobacco too.
And their tobacco, of course.
There's a
broadleaf.
Yep, there's a Connecticut broadleaf farm outside of York, which is about 40 minutes from me. That's getting a lot of popularity. There's something special about the soil, and they're actually taking care of the soil, which is pretty cool. A lot of places don't take care of the soil, and if you're not doing cover crops and that kind of stuff, it really does have a negative impact on the tobacco because you're taking nutrients out of the soil and not returning it, which that's more in the science and agriculture side of the cigar world. But
it is, and I've told the story back of, back when I used to work for Reynolds Tobacco in QA and going to Honduras and Nicaragua, seeing the how all the quadrants being blocked off for growing, and that, it's going to be 5 years before they grow tobacco back on the land that they just cultivated from. But in the meantime, they're growing coffee and coca in there to go because it helps release more of the nutrients into the soil. So, giving back so that way you're getting that consistency within each crop year, depending on which quadrant that they're growing from. But, as I said, it'll be 5 years before we grow anything back in this quadrant.
So you're saying that the coffee flavor in cigars and the cocoa flavor in cigars just comes from the cover crops of years prior?
Yeah, because well, no, I mean somebody goes around with a jar of Nesquik and
that's yep. Or maybe puts a little bit of cinnamon on the tip or something.
Yeah, a little cinnamon, some sugar. Yeah, and that was never something I knew a whole lot about because, look, I'm just a kid who comes from the desert in New Mexico. We got like red and blue corn. I know about that, but I knew nothing about the dynamics and learning all of that. Being a tobacco nerd.
It's truly fascinating the amount of energy and science and, for lack of a better term, technology that goes into farming, which is really just putting, in theory, seeds in the ground and giving it some water, and in theory it should grow. But there's so much more to it.
I went to that seminar at PCA that Christian Arroyo put on about the $3 million in technology invested into his farm for helping know soil conditions and water conditions and when's the best time to plant and the continual checking of the plants as they're going. I found that I was so enamored by listening to him talk about bringing in, learning, from his dad, and his dad and grandpa did all of that stuff by hand and having to figure it. But investing in the technology has made it so much better that they're obtaining better tobacco crops from having this technology.
Oh, you're absolutely right. We are very fortunate in that we're living in an age that the technology around farming and tobacco is really producing incredible tobacco at this point. It's awesome to see, and it's even better to see firsthand. And if you ever have the opportunity to go down and do a manufacturer tour of their plant, I did the Perdomo tour this year, and that was a lot of long days, but I learned so much. And the quality control and the quality of the product that Perdomo makes it's top notch. You can't really argue with it. Their consistency is incredible. And then also went down to the Dominican. So that was in Esteli. And then later that year, a couple weeks later, I went to the Dominican for the DBL 10th anniversary party, which was a lot more of a party than it was an educational event, which was an absolute blast. And if you ever had the opportunity to have a DBL cigar or meet Francisco, which you probably met Francisco at PCA while you were out there. Mm-hmm. Just a salt of the earth, genuine guy that any way I can support that guy, I absolutely will. So, but just seeing the different types of farms, seeing the large operation that's Perdomo, and then the obviously much smaller operation that is DBL, and comparing and contrasting and seeing the different ways they do things, just really fascinating. And it's almost amazing that cigars are as cheap as they are with the amount of money and time and energy that goes into producing them. And when you think about it, it's kind of sad because all that work and we're just burning it.
It's money. I tell people, when people go, I got money, I'm like, yeah, I burn money multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm essentially doing, Here, I'm literally burning $14 right now. Literally.
Yeah. I think that's about what I'm doing.
Yeah. We're burning money for just enjoyment. There's no investment in this. I'm not getting anything in return other than the enjoyment.
But you absolutely are.
Smoking the cigar and having a good conversation. That's what you get out of it.
And you can't put a price on that. It's like I was just being at a lounge and hanging out with the people at the lounge. You can't put a price on that. You make lifelong friends. You make business acquaintances. I've done a ton of business through people at my local lounge. One of them is a mortgage broker. We ended up refinancing the house with him. Another one sells appliances, and we've done some work with him. Let's see. Another guy's a handyman. He's done some painting at our house. It's just, you meet great people and they generally return the favor. And not saying that in an inappropriate way, just cigar lounges are generally inhabited by good people that understand what it means to sit and do nothing for 2 hours. And they understand the value of setting a $20 bill on fire because, well, they're getting a lot out of it, not just from the relationships they're making, but also from the relaxation that you get and the camaraderie and the family, for lack of a better term. It becomes a small little family at your local lounge, and getting to know your local lounge and supporting your local brick and mortars is an absolute great thing that needs to be done more.
It does. I try to always hit a lounge when I'm traveling wherever I'm at. Just one, to see what the lounge is all about. What do they carry? Do they have things that are I don't have readily available around me? But two, to also just hang out and enjoy the company of people who I've never met, but
yep.
I'm done. I leave 2 hours later and I feel like some of these people I have known for my whole life.
Yep. Yeah, traveling for a living, and I did that for about 10 years. And with the exception of Hawaii, I've been to every state. I've been to 5 of the 7 continents, and I've been to cigar lounges in all of those places. Actually, not Montana. Did not go to a cigar lounge when I was in Montana last summer, or North and South Dakota. So I do take that back. Not all those places.
Wow.
But, details, right? But that was one of the best things to do after you finish whatever it is that you're doing for work, and you find a cigar lounge, especially if you're traveling by yourself and you're not going out to dinner by yourself. You have dinner at a cigar lounge and talk with who you talk with, and who knows, maybe you got someone to catch up with the next time you're out in that city.
Yeah, I agree. It it's a beautiful thing that our industry has provided with connections. Especially during the pandemic and the lockdown out there. Um, you know, the ability to continue to do Zoom herfs and just hang out like on lives and stuff, or have private live chats on Instagram or Facebook,
Yep.
kept us together. And I made so many contacts, in 2020, of people that I never thought I would ever meet, or people who uh, I've always wanted to know more about, because the availability of wanting to continue to promote what you're doing, got limited to Zoom. And so you had to but you still had that human connection. And although different, not being able to sit across from somebody and talk, you still have the ability to talk to somebody, see their face, enjoy company with other people. And, and I think that kept the culture continuously going and growing.
And aside from a little bit of echo, this actually kind of reminds me of us catching up and meeting for the first time at PCA this summer. Just two guys hanging out, and that was a lot of fun during the COVID time when everyone was locked down, doing the virtual herfs.
I did a lot. I did a lot of them, and I signed up for a lot of them. Because most of them were free, and so you got to, it's like, well, okay, I want to smoke a cigar.
I'm going to be sitting at home smoking, so I might as well put myself on camera.
Yeah, it's like I can't go to the lounge. I can go into the shop. I can go buy a cigar, but I can't hang out in the lounge. But I want to hang out with people. Well, let me hang out, and then I end up meeting people that I feel connected to on a deeper level, because after things reopened back up and travel was going, me traveling somewhere, getting to link up with these people in person, invaluable, because it was just kind of like we knew each other forever. We got to see but then it was only through talking in Zooms, and then in person, it's like it's as if nothing changed. It was as if the Zooms didn't matter. We were physically there in person.
Yeah. Which has benefited me as well, because now I don't have to travel to DC to go back to work nearly as often as I used to, because we've realized how efficient things are without being in the office, which is great. So we've lost some of that different kind of productivity, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't get the opportunity to work from home. I was an essential employee. I had to be out in the field every single day. And it didn't matter. I had to be out there. I had a card on my badge if they stopped me trying to cross the border from Wyoming into Colorado, that let me go in, that said I'm an essential personnel, and some of the cities that put curfews in that allowed me to stay out later than the mandated curfews.
Oh, it's crazy to think that we lived through that. And
we did, yeah.
But it was so long. It also feels like, it was a long time ago. It was 2 years ago. What are you drinking? Is that a Coors Light?
No. It's an energy drink.
I just
Coors Light? Rocky Mountain toilet water?
Yeah. That's my quantity beer of choice. I've got some to my right. I guess I failed to show the beer fridge.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker and much anymore.
You and me both. It's few and far between at this point.
I tend to save it up for going to events, because I know I'm going to be out until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, hammering it back with people, and so I tend to say reserve for most of the year, except for those few times a year I'm out at events.
Yeah, I'm a couple beverages a week at this point. And it used to be a lot more than that.
I can't. I have to have a talk with my liver before we go to Vegas. I'm like, look, we're only going to be there for 4 days. Look, we're going to be smoking a lot. We're going to be dehydrated, and we're going to be consuming a ton of alcohol. But it's for the benefit. And then we're done. We're done for months after that. Now I got to have the conversation. Hey, look, we may overdo it a little bit, but then we got to do it again in 6 weeks.
Yeah, because you got it coming up this spring.
And then we're done. Then we're practically done for the whole year. Then you don't have to worry about it anymore. So come on, I just need you to work.
You'll be back out for TPE in 25, and then PCA in 25 is in New Orleans.
Yeah,
Nolans, depending on who's listening.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be out there. I didn't know if I was going to do TPE this year or not, just because a lot of the changes and a lot of the brands bailed to focus on PCA because they were so close together that they had to pick one or the other.
Yep.
And so, but then I started looking at the list of who's going to be there, and it's a lot of more smaller companies that are looking, that you probably have heard of or may not have heard of, but smaller companies looking to get a footprint in. And so this is kind of like their first big showcase of going to a trade show. So I thought, you know what, it's probably worth it to go to showcase and to talk to these brands because, they're not going to be at PCA, and I'm not working, I'm working a booth at PCA, so I'm not going to be out there, last year, the few breaks that I got out on the floor, I weren't spent going and getting something to eat or doing it. It was going and walking the floor to booths, going and, making the contacts, booking guests for the shows and doing, I was doing dual duty at times.
You're definitely on from morning till late night when you're at those events.
Yes. And you're still hungover because you're only on 2 hours of sleep and you consumed far more alcohol than you probably should.
It was actually, aside from my normal Vegas trips, the last PCA trip, I barely drank at all. And for me, it was as we were talking, if you ask my accountant, it was a business trip, but my wife and I turned it into a mini vacation. So PCA was kind of the impetus to get us out there. But we, did a lot of stuff for the two of us, which was a lot of fun. And we'd been going to Vegas I used to go to Vegas about twice a year for the last 20 years. And Katie would come out with me about once a year. And we'd, spend 4 or 5 days, 6 days out there and do something, some fun event. We rented excavators one year to dig this, which was a ton of fun. If you've ever operated a 35,000-pound excavator, it's absolutely amazing. It is worth every penny. That's one of the reasons that I own a backhoe now, because my wife had so much fun at Vegas digging. She was like, well, if I can play with it, then yeah, you can buy it. Okay, so.
Yeah, oh, well, okay. I mean, if you insist, it's your choice.
It was purchased, for the purpose of building this barn that we were planning on building when we first moved up here, but then ran into township problems. And so we ended up using it because I did all the electrical work in the barn. I did all the trenching. I did all the exterior plumbing. I did all the grading around the building. I did all the interior finishing on the barn. So it came in handy. Pulling about 90 feet of wire through a 2-inch conduit is an absolute nightmare unless you have a backhoe that you just hook it to the teeth on the backhoe, you pull outside, and then you just grab the hydraulics and pull in the lever, and it just pulls the wire right through, and then you tighten it back up. And it was great, because if I was trying to pull that wire manually, it would have never happened. I'd be sitting in the dark right now.
Yeah. No, I get it. It was a business trip because you and I talked business while you were there. We talked business and so yeah, it was a business trip. I mean, I don't know,
We actually just went and saw, I don't know if you see any shows when you're in Vegas, but Absinthe by Spiegelworld is at Caesars, and it is completely inappropriate, completely not PC. It is probably one of the most offensive shows out there, but it is absolutely hilarious, and we've seen it twice at this point. And we actually saw it the first time by accident because we got approached leaving a casino for a timeshare, which was an absolute nightmare of a presentation, as they always are. And we didn't buy one, which is great, but we got the free tickets to Absinthe. And then we've seen it twice, and then we saw the other two shows that Spiegelworld has put on in Vegas. And then they just had one in AC that started over the summer, I believe. And so we actually went and saw that last weekend. It was very enjoyable. Hook. So if you guys are looking for something entertaining that's inappropriate, Spiegelworld shows are fantastic to do that. And if you guys are talking about pushing brooms, then I think Spiegelworld shows would be perfect for you.
You know, I'm just trying to bring back, you know, the glory days of man. You know, being greeted at the door with the paper slippers and the smoke, and dinner on the table when I say I'm ready to chow down.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you have a broomstick that's going to be swung at you.
Oh, trust me.
In the near future,
Michelle will smack me around when I see her in a couple months. She'll smack me around. Yeah, she'll like, I can't believe you said that. In fact, I'm pretty sure once the show ends, she'll probably call me.
As she should.
She'll call me. She'll, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Say that. Oh my goodness.
If I had to guess, my lovely bride is watching right now. And, hi, honey. I didn't say any of that.
He didn't agree, but he was throwing the winks in agreement. Just so you're aware.
And
I'm joking.
And I have done the vacuum cleaner for Christmas before.
I get. My mom asked for a vacuum cleaner for her birthday one year because the vacuum cleaner we had sucked, and so my dad bought her a new vacuum cleaner. She was super happy about it.
Yeah, it was the same way. She asked for a cordless vacuum cleaner, so why not?
You get to a certain point, and I noticed this about my dad and stepmom and my mom and stepdad, that after a certain age and being married a long time, when you just ask for like basic stuff like a vacuum, like a different broom, or you want something that just, it's like, yeah, okay, I get that for you. It's not about all the other stuff. It's just like I want one of those Swifters with the 15-foot arm on it so I can get up on the top of the ceiling. Oh, okay, I can buy that. Yeah.
It actually sounds kind of nice.
Yeah. So my mom asked for it, my stepdad bought it.
Smart man.
Yeah, he bought it. She asked for one of those wet dry shark vacuums for the kitchen floor. He bought it.
Does it work?
Yeah, she loves it.
Awesome.
She loves it. And so, it's just, yeah, it's great, Me being a single man, if I just want something, I go and buy it. I don't have, I'm not responsible for anybody else other than myself.
Those are good days.
That's right. I don't have to think. I just got to keep myself alive. I don't have another human I got to be responsible for.
Yeah. Those are fun days.
It's kind of like I'm big into the sports card world as well. On that, if I want to spend $300 to buy into a sports card break, well, I don't have to get approval from anybody to do it. It's just, do I have the money? Yeah, I'm going to do it.
Exactly.
Who's going to tell me no? And if I don't get any return back on my investment, and then basically I get back $50 worth of cards out of the $300 I spent, oh well. Couldn't do that if you're in a relationship.
You can. You just
but then you get that look. I remember what it was like being in a relationship. I remember what it was like and her going through, why you keep buying cigars? Why not? Well, you got a lot of them. I know. Because they were available.
See, I'm very fortunate in that my wife encourages the cigar habit because it keeps me out of her hair. Keeps me from bothering her. She's like, just go have a cigar, go away. And it works.
You
So,
know, it got my ex into cigars. You know, and that was back in a time when it was still kind of taboo for women to be into cigars. But it got her into it because it was a hobby that I enjoyed. And so it piqued her interest after she saw I just kept buying it. And then after she got into it and she's like, I get it now. I get why you buy them. I get why you want to, I get why you go sit out on the back porch and smoke even when it's,
12 degrees outside.
12 degrees outside. I get it. I get why you do it. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, I don't have a problem with you spending the money on it. I was like, oh, well, good, because I was going to do it anyway, even if you told me you did.
I have to be careful with the cigars that I smoke around her because she sometimes will take the ones that I enjoy and not give them back, which
that's the problem. Look, I'd have to think long and hard in a relationship with a woman if the biggest concern I have is let's share a humidor.
ooh,
Not moving in together, not getting married, not the financial pressures of being together. Let's share a humidor. I don't know if I could make that kind of commitment to a woman.
I don't think I can make that kind of commitment to anyone.
That's a big commitment to go. Yes, you have free reign of all of this.
You have free reign of my really, really high quality, super awesome cigars that are in that special drawer that I keep in my humidor for everybody that comes over that loves smoking cigars. And then they have, 2 puffs and throw it away.
2 or 3 puffs, and then it just sits in the ashtray the rest of the night.
Yep, she can have access to that drawer. That is my special drawer reserved for the cigar lovers in my life that love to not love cigars.
I think every aficionado out there has that humidor or Tupperware filled with factory smokes and rejects in there for I like the smoke person.
Yep.
Like no. This is kind of like I went to a wedding not too long ago where they had a roller there, and about 90% of the cigars were about 3 puffers and in the ashtray.
Oh, that's so
and I was like, and I was appalled by that. Like, on top of the fact that everybody's having fun and dancing around, and I'm bugging the roller, asking questions and digging out. I'm like, don't you want to be out there dancing? Nah, this is way more. I don't care about what's going on over there. I'm more interested in what you're doing.
Asking the roll if they can roll ambidextrously.
Yeah, I was just like, I've noticed you use 2 different bunching methods. Now, is that for a specific reason? Why? Because they're the same exact cigars, but I'm noticing he was just annoyed with me.
You were that guy.
I was that guy. Yes, I was that guy.
And my guess is the reason they had a cigar roller at that wedding is because you were attending.
No, he wasn't.
All
They
right.
thought it would be something fun because they both are casual smokers, which I in the 25 years I knew the guy, and about the 6 I've known his girl, I've never seen them light up once. And they've been over to my my house, and when I had an apartment in New Mexico, how I converted my patio into the ultimate cigar lounge. Never once lit up.
Interesting. So you were the reason that they had the cigar roller at the wedding.
Maybe I was the reason. I don't know, but it was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had fun. I didn't pay attention to anything that went on at the reception other than bugging the roller.
That actually sounds a lot like my wedding. I think I saw my wife for 20 minutes during the entire reception because I was outside smoking cigars with everybody that was wanting to smoke cigars. So I think I spent probably 2.5 of the 3 hours of the reception on the patio smoking cigars, and the other half hour was cutting the cake, and I think I ate dinner. And we did the walk around to every table, which is tons of fun.
Wow, that's cool. I just want a free break spot in a sports card break.
Awesome.
All right, hey. Yeah, I did see. Didn't cost me any money. But yeah, maybe I was. I don't know, but I mean, I had a lot of fun, and and I didn't pay attention to anything that happened at the reception. I missed the cake because I was too busy over at the rolling station um, on it, and uh, actually learned a lot. As much as I annoyed him, he was very, very in depth and detailed in a lot of the questions I was asking him, and you know what, he was answering them all as he was rolling, and so I liked it, and getting his story, about coming to this country, 15 years ago from Cuba, and his mom and dad worked in the factories in Cuba, and so that's how he got introduced to it, and I thought I loved the story. I thought it was fascinating.
I do love the stories from old cigar rollers. Some of them have definitely been around the block and uh, have some good stories. I had the pleasure of meeting Aristides, who was at the Perdomo factory, and I guess his Nick Perdomo's father and him were very close, and Nick brought him to Nicaragua to help with Perdomo. And all of his stories were in Spanish. He only spoke Spanish, which I don't speak Spanish, so Nick was translating for us, and it was hilarious, some of the stories that he was telling. And it's also pretty sad, some of the we'll just say the political climate in Cuba is certainly not an environment that really anyone should have to live in. But he had some great stories, which were really enjoyable to listen to.
To tie into that, next week, if you want to really hear some stories, my guest next week is Rafael Cifuentes, whose family was the original founders of one of the biggest brands out of Cuba before the revolution.
That's going to be a good show.
Yeah, it'll be a fantastic show.
So a lot more
than
some guy in his barn.
That's right. If you've ever smoked Cuban Partagas cigars, his family was the founder of Partagas in Cuba before the revolution, and then they fled to Spain, which they own numerous crops around the world. They're in the tobacco market for selling and brokering, but Rafael wanted to bring back some of that family heritage. So for the first time in about 70 years, he's bringing back a cigar line inspired by, his family's Cuban Partagas heritage.
That's awesome.
So it'll be a great show next week. It's today. Probably going to get some great stories, a lot of history coming in out there on that one, and it's a good one to end since I take the month of December off. So, it's a great end of the year show to really, to end on there. I'm super excited. Rafael is free. Big, family name that's coming out. So if you're a tobacco nerd, you want to know about pre-revolution Cuba and Cuban cigars before the Castro administration. I mean, the dude's family is just firsthand in really the big marketing of Cuban cigars in the 30s, 40s, and 50s in the United States, with one of the biggest, Cuban imported brands coming over to this country.
That sounds like it's going to be a fascinating show.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good show. out there. What's going on, buddy? Bourbon Battalion checking in. Good to see you. I'm guessing the Cigar Clown show has just ended. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch what I missed. I was watching before I jumped on with you, checking out my bros there, Ray and Joe from the Cigar Clowns on with the big dog there, Cigar Prop. All right, so you want to get your handcrafted ashtrays and other handcrafted accessories from that man right there, right there, Mr. Matt from 58 Ring. Get yourself over to
Made back there.
58ring.com. And of course, if you use that promo code 505CR, it's valid through next Monday, Cyber Monday. It'll save you some coinage on whatever you purchase through the website.
Yep, site-wide.
This thing is gorgeous. What a beautiful ashtray.
Thank you so much.
Man, this is beyond beautiful. I mean, I almost don't want to use it.
You're not the first person to say that, but I strongly encourage you to use it.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to feel guilty. I'm going to feel guilty the first time I
using it. No, don't feel guilty. Enjoy it.
I know that's what it's there
That's
for.
what it was made to do.
I know. Did you go through different wood testing to figure out which woods work best for the cigars in it to avoid having a lot of damage or burn scars?
So if you follow the use and care instructions, you really don't have to worry about it too much. If you go and put a cigar out on it and tamp a cigar down on it, you're definitely going to singe it because the cherry on these things is around 1,000 to 1,200 degrees. So, but if you just let it rest on there, you're really not going to have any trouble with them. The more dense woods are definitely a lot more resilient. So the heavier the ashtray, the more resilient it's going to be. Your lighter woods are going to be quicker to burn. But even then, a little bit of sandpaper and a little bit of finishing oil, and it's back to what it was before. Really easy to correct any mistakes, and that's also on the use and care card. If you do something and screw it up, and we'll certainly figure out a way to see if we can't make you whole again. So
make sure you read the warranty that says "Don't be stupid with it." Okay? That's not covered under "You're stupid" on the warranty. Okay.
Correct, but on the bottom of it, it also says, and I don't remember exactly because I wrote it a few years ago, but basically, reach out. You know, we love the industry, we love our customers, and certainly want to make sure that everyone is happy with their products, regardless of how it gets into the state it gets into. Now, if you run over it with a truck, and granted, some of them probably wouldn't even notice that you ran over it, and the truck might even be damaged. But if something goes wrong, shoot me an email. There's an email address on that card for after the sale, and we certainly will stand by it and make it right.
Yeah, that's good. You know, and I know talking with Ernie from Family by Loyalty, who does handcrafted wood cigar pipes that were designed for their pipe size cigar. On there, he went through numerous different testings of wood to try and find a wood that wouldn't crack or frail when you started smoking into the cherry into the wood pipe.
Yep, and he's working with a much thinner area of wood as the cherry gets in there, which is a lot more difficult compared to a large block of wood, which is going to take a lot longer to heat up. It's going to take a lot longer to burn. But I do have one of the CS cigar pipes. Nothing's fantastic, and not only is it fantastic, but it's beautiful. In fact, we did a giveaway with them back in 2020. So,
yeah, you know, another guy who's fantastic with working with wood, Ernie over there. You know, that's you know, I'm jealous about all that stuff. You know, his pipes are gorgeous. If you haven't seen them, definitely check out the Family by Loyalty website and go check out the handcrafted cigar pipes that Ernie makes, and he does them all by hand. No mass production on that. You know, he spends hours upon hours making those by hand for every order that comes in.
It's definitely a lot of time that goes into it. And if you don't like sanding, which no woodworker does, you probably shouldn't be woodworking because 90% of the time is spent sanding.
Yeah, I can't afford one of the pipes. I'd love to have one. Well, I don't know if I'd use it, but I'd love to have one. They're beautiful. I think it would be just a nice piece, collection piece to have, just because they're gorgeous. Especially that African heartwood that he uses on it, that dark
The,
purple.
the dark purple, so that's Paduke.
Yeah.
Or, so, yeah, it's either that or Purple Heart. And he also, I know he uses a lot of Wengi, which is a wood that I absolutely love. In fact, that's part of my very first ashtray was Wengi and African mahogany.
Yeah, I'd love to. I can't afford one though, so I'll just enjoy from a distance on that. Matt, this was awesome. I appreciate you coming on. Uh,
Couldn't agree more.
Man, I had a great time. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all go over to the website. Go pick yourself up an ashtray. Even if you're not a big smoker, but you have one in the family or your significant other is an aficionado, this is the perfect gift for Christmas for that aficionado in your life. Or treat yourself this holiday season to a beautiful handcrafted ashtray. Uh, as well as check out the other accessories that are available on 58 Rings website at 58ring.com. And when you check out, use promo code 505CR, which will save you some coinage off your order. So definitely take a look, man. Get yourself one. These are beautiful. These will look great in your everybody's home lounge out there. And if you're a retail shop that's watching and you're interested in wanting to carry bulk for your shop to sell out to customers, give this guy he's over here. There we go. The camera's backwards on this. Right there. Shoot that guy a message on Instagram and let him know you're interested, and you guys can talk shop.
Absolutely. We also can do custom logos, custom engraving, and for the cigar rests, we can certainly get a branding iron and brand your logo into the cigar rest as well. So if you're looking to do a custom run of something, give me a call, shoot me an email, Matt at 58ring.com, 58ring.com, and happy to chat. Love to see if we can't work something out.
But you'll never have one of these OG ones like I got. Okay?
No, they're no longer in production.
They're no longer in production. You'll never get one of these. I got it.
The new and improved models out with the magnets.
You got with the magnets. But this one, if you're an OG to my channel, you've seen this in tons of photos.
And I can't thank you enough for your promotion, and I'm honored to call you a friend at this point. So.
Oh man, it's no problem, man. I'm glad to call you a friend as well. Anything I can do to help you out, man, please feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for.
Very much appreciated. I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too. I'll hand it off. I'll hand it off to you because the camera is running backwards. I'm not used to. I'm used to the phone, which I just point, and you're right there. But the camera turns everything backwards. You're right there. So I'll hand it to you. Anything you'd like to end with or promote? Go on ahead.
I can't do it as eloquently as you can. So thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you get to know me a little bit more. If you're in the King of Prussia area, I'm at Cigar Mojo just about every Wednesday, and would love to catch up, chat, have a cigar with pretty much anyone. So
excellent.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Excellent. Next Monday night, Rafael Cifuentes from the Partagas family out of Cuba, and their brand new brand that they're putting out will be my guest. So please tune in for that. It's also my last show for the year. The Wednesday, the 27th of December, my top 10 list for the year is going to drop. And you guys always blow that up and make it usually one of my most watched videos of all time when I drop that top 10 list. So it'll be the 5th annual top 10 list. 5 years. I can't believe it. 5 years on that. So be on the look with that. And I do believe the Friday before Christmas, the 22nd or 23rd, I'm going to be doing a special show with the Cigar Clowns in honor of Festivus. So that should be a fun show as well. Let's see if I'm out here wrapped up in a big down blanket again like I was last year. On that, and of course, 58ring.com, 58ring.com. Go pick up your ashtray and other handcrafted accessories exclusively from 58 Ring, and use promo code 505CR when you check out to save yourself some coinage. That's it for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much. Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, and thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.